Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today my friends at Sideshow have asked me to take a look at this, the exclusive version of the Punisher premium format figure. Let's see how it turned out. Alright, first up, let's take a look at this box, and it is huge as befits a statue of this stature. Beautiful artwork of the statue itself, as well as the Punisher logo, which everybody knows and loves. On the bottom, you'll see the Sideshow chrome sticker, indicating that this is the exclusive variant that comes with an exclusive portrait. We'll get to that in a moment when we get into the guts of the thing. Moving around, I think those bars are meant to be symbolic of those teeth at the bottom of the Punisher logo. Speaking of the Punisher logo, look at that massive display of it on the back there. The skull icon that we are familiar with emblazoned on the Punisher's chest. Back around to the front for a final look at that artwork. The Sideshow graphic arts team is typically very much on point with these premium format boxes. I love what they do. Nothing ever gets boring there. But let's get into the guts of the thing. Now, when you're putting a statue together like this, you'll want to start with the base. Get it out of the box carefully, set it wherever you're going to have the statue displayed. Clean it off if you see any little bits of foam on there like I'm doing here. Then move over. The first thing you'll notice about this guy is these grenades. They're fragile. Do not grab it by that point or by these shoelaces down there. Those are not actual fabric. They are very much resin and they will break. Don't ask me how I know. Carefully remove the statue from the body. You'll find that there is a keyhole or two on the front foot as well as on the back foot. Place those keys into the specific keyholes designed for them, and then Bob's your uncle. Decision time. I'm going to go with the regular head for this first assembly here and then show you what to do with the exclusive head later on down the line. Very simple process. There's a magnet right there in the head and another corresponding in the neck. Just plop it down into the keyhole and you're set. Now it's time to equip this guy. So let's start with this massive machine gun. It's got a key there in the strap that's very much welcome, actually, because one of the things that frustrates me is whenever a strap on a gun tends to move around a bit. Sideshow's really done their best to make sure that this thing stays in its place. As you can see, it's a simple matter of plugging it in and letting it go. Of course, it doesn't hurt to check, but this thing's pretty solid. Next up, the baseball bat. The bat comes gripped in Punisher's right hand, so it's a very simple matter to just drop it into the keyhole, let the magnet do its work, and then just let the bat itself rest on his right shoulder. Next up is going to be the gun, the one that goes into the shoulder holster there. That's also simple. It's actually in the shoulder holster as it comes to you, so you just have to find the keyhole there and then just let the magnet do its work. Lots of magnets on this piece. I love the use of magnets in these statues. Now his other pistol, the one that's empty. You can see that the slide is all the way back and it's empty. Very cool effect because it just gives you the notion that he's done. He's done his work here. Everything's taken care of. Again, slide that into the magnet and you're good to go. Now this guy has two little bits right here, two little smoky bits there at the bottom. Kind of looks like an octopus limbs there at the bottom. One has a bit of a squared off end. That's the part that's going to go into the chamber. So the lowest portion that I'm pointing at there is going to go into the barrel. Slide that in first and then slide the second arm into the chamber and you're good to go. It's nice and sturdy. It rests there comfortably. Pièce de résistance. Kingpin's cane. This is the easiest bit of all. You can just basically put it anywhere on the steps that you find convenient. I like to set it here between those little bits of rubble. That just kind of keeps it in place. Now, the exclusive portrait. My favorite part of this premium format figure, which took it over the top and made it the Punisher premium format that I had to own. As you can see, it's a simple matter of just swapping out one head for the other, and you're good to go. I have been following the Punisher's exploits since the late 80s. That makes it more than 30 years that I've been following the character. I remember distinctly 1988, I guess was the year, but in that time period I was walking uptown in my little small town that I lived in and going daily to the local newsstand and perusing the comic book racks there. They had a small section about 6 feet wide and about 4 rows deep. And all the best ones were there, all the Marvels, all the DCs, but no local comic book shop. All we had was newsstands. But I remember the first time that I laid eyes on the Punisher #1, the very first ongoing series that the character got. And I saw that cover by Klaus Janson, and My friend John had actually introduced me to the character the year before, or something like that. Again, it's been a long time, so I don't recall. But the impact that the miniseries had on me was such that I was just like, oh, another Punisher series, and picked it up, and I was hooked for years and years and years. I followed the character's exploits on and off. Sometimes it got a little bit, it bogged down a little bit. I didn't have time to keep up, and so I would walk away from the character, but I always come back. I thrilled, for instance, to Garth Ennis's 2 runs on the character in the Marvel Knights and in the Marvel Max versions of the character. Having been a big fan of his previous work with Steve Dillon, obviously I wasn't going to let that one pass. My favorite writer-artist team with one of my favorite characters, hell yeah. And most recently, of course, I've thrilled to every issue of Matthew Rosenberg's run on the title. Can't wait to see what comes next. And so far as collectibles go, this is legitimately only the second Punisher piece that I've ever had in my possession. The only other one was the Punisher vs. Daredevil diorama that Sideshow did many years ago. The other premium formats, the Tim Bradstreet one was brilliant, but for whatever reason I didn't pick it up at the time. And while I appreciate the other offerings that Sideshow's done, this is the first one that really reached out and said, I have got to be in your collection right bloody now. Everything from just the texture in the shirt to the familiar weave of the denim in the pants, the detail in the zippers on those pouches, the inclusion of Kingpin's broken cane, the smoke, this Punisher logo coming out of the smoke that's wafting from that spent pistol that he's carrying. This piece in every way exemplifies a statue telling a story. And while it does so admirably on its own, it also teams quite nicely with other Marvel Knights type characters from Sideshow's Marvel line. And that about covers it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, be good to your plastic.